to. All right, let's do this. This will be my last video. I will not be making a last video ever, but I will not be able to make a video next week because I'm going out of the country. Shout out to the UK. So yeah, I won't be making any videos on this channel, but do always check out some content I'll be making on my other channel, Larry's Anything Goes LLC, and we'll go from there. All right, so say that one more time. I think there's a delay. I will not be making any content on this channel next week because I will be out of the country. So and I'm not taking my computer with me. So anyways, so when it comes to real estate within this wonderful part of the Midwestern part of the United States of America, most people think about Chicago, Cleveland, Detroit, Milwaukee, etc. and so forth. But most, and I repeat, most, don't look into places like Indianapolis, Indiana, like the previous cities that I just mentioned earlier. And when it comes to investing into places that were known as growth potential cities like Los Angeles, Phoenix, and Miami, all lovely cities, LA and Phoenix are my favorite. I'm not really a Florida person. Those cities are gentrified and have grown to the point where mostly millionaires and billionaires have the real estate on lock. According to the article that I read the other day, Indianapolis and its surrounding metro counties are growing at a pace that is turning heads and, more importantly, turning investment dollars. This isn't a blip. It's a trend that has been building for years and shows no signs of slowing down. And the best part of this is that Indianapolis may not be as cheap as it used to be 10 years ago, but it's ranked #1 nationally for domestic migration and float 2 quarters running. Other points to look at is coastal cities are losing residents. And this is true in a big way. But coastal cities are definitely losing residents. Midwestern cities are gaining them. Affordability, infrastructure, investment, and housing demand make the chase for investors. Indianapolis is earlier in its growth arc than Austin, compared to Austin and Phoenix ever were. Right now, the Midwest is where it's at when it comes to migration. It was the South, like Atlanta, Nashville, Miami, Houston, Dallas, Austin, and then of course when it came to the West Coast, the migration from coastal cities like Portland and Seattle and all the cities in California, they were going to places like, if they wanted to stay on the West Coast, they were going to Denver, they were going to Phoenix, and they were going to Las Vegas and Reno, Nevada, because they were cheaper areas to live in. And then of course during the pandemic, people started moving to Idaho, Idaho and Utah, places like that, because it is what it is. California is the most expensive state in the country, and it's a lifestyle. So and you even have millionaires and billionaires vacating the state. Love the state, one of my favorite states, but it is what it is. They got issues. Every state has its issues, but it just depends on what you're willing to deal with. I look at it like that. All right, so moving forward. Like the entire state of Florida has been gentrified. At one time, moving to Florida was the thing to do, but now Florida's become so gentrified. Now people have had enough of it, and they're moving to places like the Carolinas, Georgia, Mississippi, and Alabama, because Florida's basically become the paradise for millionaires and billionaires, just like California was on the West Coast. But now Florida in the South is a paradise for millionaires and billionaires because it's very expensive, but you just don't have egregious taxes like you do in California. And you don't have income state taxes. So it's a very business-friendly state, even though most people working people can't afford to live there, but the millionaires and billionaires can, and basically the state is theirs now. So the entire state of Florida has been gentrified financially, and now people have had enough. The article also stated that the Bank of America Institute, drawing on the data from tens of millions of customers' accounts, identified Indianapolis as the fastest-growing metro area in the country. Now, not just the Midwest, but nationally. For 2 consecutive quarters heading into late 2025, Columbus, Ohio came in second. Cleveland rounded out a Midwest sweep of the top 5. These aren't cities typically associated with explosive growth, but that's precisely what makes them trend so significant. And that's the thing. It's just like in America, if it's a city that's not really growing economically in regards to fast pace of jobs and housing and whatnot, then the cost of living will be low. That's just what it is. I mean, I'm gonna say this 1,000 times in this video. Who would have ever thought that people moving to the Midwest, it would be the thing to do, because the cost of living in America is becoming so egregious that you have to go to these places where you can survive, or especially go to places where you can thrive. So it is what it is. Now I predict that more Midwestern cities will become gentrified Not like Los Angeles and New York, but with so many new investors and passive income online people moving there, the cost of real estate will go up. I mean, heck, the cost of everything else has gone up. An article ended on this note stating that the population growth doesn't exist in a vacuum. Indianapolis and the broader Indy, as they call it, Indy Metro, are seeing meaningful investments in large-scale in infrastructure and technology development, data centers, logistics, operations, and corporate expansion that are bringing jobs and drawing talent. When economic anchors like these take root, they create a sustained demand for housing and services that feeds on itself. Compare that to the coastal metros where growth stories are increasingly complicated. Indianapolis, by contrast, is earlier in its growth arc. The fundamentals are strong, the affordability advantage remains intact, and the population data shows no sign of a momentum stalling. So investors, look into it, do your research, and get in now while the price is right. That's all I can say on that note. So don't forget, Larry's Anything Goes. We wholesale real estate in the DMV area, Eastern Pennsylvania area. Check us out. Links in the description. If you're a stock market investor, crypto investor, individual, retirement account investor, don't forget to check out Webull, Stash, Acorn, Twitter.com, Coinbase. All those platforms should be able to make some money move so you don't live broke like a fool. Remember, you can't get fired if you own the company. It's 2026 time. If you don't own something, take care. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks when I get back from the UK. It'll be my first time getting a spot tea in London. Take care.